Good evening and welcome to our live crafting session this evening. It is Thursday, the 18th of July 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jenny McCormack and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that is here in the UK. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching live, please do say hi. I can't always tell who is watching, so do say hi. If you're watching on replay, whether that is here on Facebook or whether that is on YouTube, then if you have any questions or comments, do pop them in the comment section, and obviously do say hi as well. It's always lovely to know who's watching. Hi Caroline, sorry we didn't get to see you on Tuesday. I hope everything is sorted and you got your delivery and everything. So two things for this evening. One is we're going to do some crafting. I did use this lovely Changing Leaves stamp set on Monday morning, and that was what we used for coffee and card on Tuesday. So we'll be using that again tomorrow afternoon, Friday, and that's in Brackley, and also on Monday afternoon in Toaster. So there are 3 beautiful leaf designs and 5 sentiments that go with this. And this is what they look like stamped out. So I've stamped these in basic beige, and you can see the leaves there and the nice sentiments. There is an embossing folder that you can purchase, and that also has a series of dies that go with it, so you can't buy the dies on their own. If you buy the embossing folder, you will get the folder and the dies, and that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm not sure how much of that detail you can see. Oh, that's a little bit better of that embossing. This one is it embossed and cut out, and I just shaded it with an ink pad so you can see that detail a little bit more. And then there are also these leaves here, and then 3 useful die cuts as well. There's this dinky little one here, a circle with some stitching as well, and then this longer one here which fits a little note to brighten your day. And then there's another sentiment that says you're amazing in every single way. Let me quickly show you the cards from earlier this week. So this was the one that I did, I think, live on Monday morning. And this is stamped in Blackberry Bliss. And this leaf, these 3 sets of leaves are stamped off first. So they look a little bit lighter. There's not a huge amount of difference, but they are a little bit lighter. Hi Carol. And that's got a little bit of gold ribbon, gold embellishments, and then I've stamped that on the inside, and also of course on the envelope, front and back. So that was the card that I did live, and you can see that video on Facebook or YouTube. This was one that I did during our coffee and card on Tuesday morning. This is all ready to be sent actually to a very special friend. So I've used Gorgeous Grape and Wisteria Wonder. No, not Wisteria Wonder. Highland Heather. Wisteria Wonder is well retired. Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape for that particular one. And again, added the detail to the envelope. That's using 2 of the different stamps. And then this one here is similar, and I've done this in 2 colours. So I have used Pecan Pie and Misty Moonlight for those. Hopefully you can see that okay. I haven't done any stamping off, they're just first generation stamping, and that nice little sentiment and some little champagne coloured gems to finish that off. Hi Fran, I hope you're keeping well. So today we're just going to use the embossing folder, and if you didn't see that on Monday, this is what it looks like. So you can just use the folder on its own to emboss. Let me get a piece of dark card. Oh. Goodness me, there we go. So you can see that detail a little bit better. So you've got these different leaves, as well as the 3 from the stamp set. You've got these additional ones here that can coordinate with the die cuts here and here. They're similar, they're not exactly the same, but they are similar. And what was I going to say? So you can just use on that on its own and emboss it, which is what we're going to do for our design today. But one of the dies cuts out the 3 sets of leaves together, and you don't have to worry about it cutting your embossing folder, because it's designed to fit in, so it just literally fits in on that one side. You pop your piece of card in, fold it over, run it through the machine, and it embosses and cuts out those 3, so you could use those separately. And they're a really nice size, so they'd be perfect for scrapbooking if you're a scrapbooker. And obviously they don't have to be autumn colours at all. We have a tendency to use leaves in autumn colours, but we had some great designs on Tuesday. So I'm going to use Basic Beige, which is this colour here. Sorry about the reflection. So it's an off-white. It's very similar to a speckled card that we had ages ago that were called Naturals. I think it was Natural White. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. It was retired quite a long time ago. So we do have vanilla, which is quite a bright cream, but this is a much softer stone colour. So what I'm going to do is decide which bit of this I want on my card. So you can just turn this round, and it doesn't matter which way you put this in. Obviously, if you want to do a card front, you'd need to think carefully that you're embossing it in the right direction. And a general rule is, if you have the Stampin' Up logo facing you, then that will be the correct embossed image. So let me just get it, not that it has to be straight in the slightest, but I just want a little bit sort of all the way around here. So I'm just going to pop that through our machine. And for this, ideally, hi Debbie, you will want our specialty plate. This is a 3D embossing folder, and I'm just going to pop these 2 in. And what you do need to remember using any embossing folders is that you want the crease always to go in first. Okay, if you put it in with the open ends, and if you've got some thick card or it doesn't go in straight, you can split this end. Now, it's not the end of the world, because you can still hold it together and put it through, but you always want to make sure that you've got this end, and you only want to take it through once, because if you push it through and then bring it back, you're then forcing it against the fold. So I'm just going to pop that through. There we are. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see that detail. It really does stand up. Now, there'll be nothing to stop you running another one of these through and layering and cutting it out and layering it on top if you wanted to. If you wanted a real 3D effect. I'm just wondering if I've got another piece to hand, because I might just try that and see. So let me grab, I've got a piece ready because it's ready for coffee and card. Let me cut a piece. You may remember, if you watched on Monday, that I said I was running out of basic beige card and that it's in short supply. Well, it's actually not available at the moment. We're waiting for the next shipment to come in, and two of my lovely team members, Catherine and Sam, both messaged me to say that they had some spare and would I like any. So my supplies have been topped up temporarily. Okay, so I'm going to put this in now. What I should have done was cut it a little bit bigger, because I don't know which bit of this I'm actually going to cut out yet. So let's find the die. So this is one single die that cuts out all three, and let's position that on there. I'm going to put this whole piece on top and fold it over, and then, as I say, remember to put it through with the fold at the front. So I'm just going to run that through quickly. It doesn't matter which way up that embossing folder goes in. There's not much room for it to manoeuvre, so you've really got to put it through just straight as is. So now we have these three pieces. So it only does those three. This would make a lovely wedding card, wouldn't it, I think? Okay, so I'm just wondering, this wasn't my original plan, but I'm just wondering whether to add those back on with some dimensionals. I think I will. So this piece is going to go onto my basic beige card base. This piece is 13.85 by 9.5 to give me a nice border. Hi Jenny, thanks for joining us. Lovely to have you join us while I'm live. So this piece here is going to go onto my card base. Now I could add a layer behind it, but I think I'm just going to go completely monochrome with this one. So what I'm going to do is take my three pieces that are embossed and die cut, and hopefully you can see. Actually the light's not good for this now, but they are embossed. So let me grab some dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop some on the back of these. I'm going to add it to my embossed panel, and then I'm going to trim the excess off, rather than trying to work out where that's going to fit and then find you've cut it too short. So just going to pop these on here. That's a little bit shorter, would be good. So just placing these on the back. Like so. I know this is actually going to be off the edge. So what it would have been more sensible would be to do that. Put it on this piece. So, okay. So there's one, that's supported, that one is, and then just that little bit in there I'm going to do. So I hope everybody's had a good day. We've had lovely weather down here today. It's this one. Beautiful sunshine, beautiful blue sky. So I booked to take out the dogs after this. Okay, so just taking the backing off here, and I'm not going to add any dimensionals to the stalk. I think it'll be alright as it is. I need to take my glasses off though. Okay, so I'm going to position that over there, there, and there. There we go. So it casts a really nice shadow. Obviously you could put this onto some pattern paper. So if you've got some of that, the wood effect paper would look lovely actually with that, wouldn't it? Put it onto some wood effect paper, but I'm just keeping it monochrome this time round. So let me trim this bit off because that was a little bit excessive. So lining the edge of the scissors with my card so that I'm not tempted to cut into it. Take that little bit there. So I hope you can see this okay. There we go. With those bits. Okay, so having learnt my lesson, I'm just going to put dimensionals on the base because that's much more sensible. And then I'm using here our dimensional strips because I just want some narrow pieces, but if you've got foam pads you could just cut them down to size. There's a tiny little one, and again I'm not worrying about the stalk. Okay, so there's my maple leaf or sycamore, and I'll lift this up to the screen in a minute so you can see it. And then when I finish this card I've got the projects for our July class in a box, so you can see those in, well, almost in real life. They'll be in real life with me. Okay, so there is our second one, and then finally we've got this one here. And so I'm going to do the same thing. Pop this on here. So a piece on each of those leaves, and you could stamp that first if you wanted to. You could also cut it out in a colour, or you could use a blending brush around the edges just to pick up some detail. So there are lots of different ways you can use this embossing folder and matching dies. Okay, let's put this one on. So I'm just lining it up. This is very, also just slightly bigger than the embossed element because it's got to cut around it. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that detail. Okay, right, let me see. So my plan was to pop this onto a card just like that, but I am wondering whether to add possibly a layer of crumb cake, because I'm going to add my sentiment in, not crumb cake, in early espresso I think. So let me look and see whether this works. So my plan was completely monochrome card. Hasn't quite worked out, has it? What do we think? I think it just needs something, because I've raised this up so I've now got 2 layers. Without that I think it would be too much, because that's now 3 layers. So let's cut this one down. So this in-between layer is going to measure 10 centimeters by 14.35, which will be my middle layer. So my standard sizing for an A6 card. So 10 centimetres is my height in this case. And let me know what you think, whether it's better with that layer or not. I think it probably is. Right, while we're deliberating on that, let's stamp a sentiment onto here. And I'm thinking that would go nicely in that little gap there. And I'm going to use You're Amazing in every single way. Perfect for my team members. And I'm looking for a block. I'm not joking, it took me 40 minutes to tidy my desk and find enough space to craft this evening, because I was working on my class in a box yesterday. Not everything, lots of products come out, and because I tried different variations with the layers, says Caroline. Thank you. So, inking this up, just light tapping on there, and I'm going to test it on the back of this. So I like to turn it over, and that gives me an opportunity to check that my ink has got enough ink in it and it's the right colour that I'm looking for, and that it's going to fit my die cut, which it does in all of those. That's a little sentiment there. So glasses off so I can really see what I'm doing. There we are. There's our finished little element. And I think I've probably got some metallic dots that I could add to that. I'll clean that in a minute. And I just wonder if I've got, I might have some espresso ribbon, but I might just leave it as it is. Let's have a look. If I have some, this is very old. This is number 152. So the beginning of each catalogue, when they have new stamps, they start with the new number. So we're on 164 and this was 152. So that's 12 years, 12 years old, give or take. The numbering doesn't always follow exactly. So I might just add a little bit of this espresso ribbon. And then we're nearly done. All I've got to do is put it together. So let's put these two layers together first, because then I can have the ribbon coming right the way around. Oh, and I need to trim this little piece here. You could have it hanging over the edge, but as all of the others are cut off exactly, then it doesn't make as much sense. Right. There we go. So let's use some glue for that first layer. Use this one here so you can still see the embossing on the back. So where you're layering embossed pieces, you do want to make sure you have a good coating of glue. You don't want it seeping out, but you want a good coating, because obviously this layer is not completely flat. Okay, so let's pop that on there, and then decide if I want this any other way. Okay, so that way, it feels right with my sentiment to go that way. I think I had it like that. That sort of fits in that gap really nicely. So let me see if I can thread my espresso ribbon through. I might have put a piece in the way. I think I have. Let's just see. Yes. Oh, I could cheat, of course, and just put it on there. And then put another piece on the side. Or let me just see. I'm being indecisive this evening. It's been one of those days. Right, so let's make a little bow with this espresso ribbon. I may not use it after all, but we'll have a look and see. It would match our rule of threes, which is early espresso 1, 2, 3. That's it. Okay. So if we pop that on there and supported it with some dimensional on the right hand side, I could use this in the corner, or I could put it on there, obviously with the edges down. Let's put this on first and then decide. So I'm going to put glue on this end because it's already high, and then I'm just going to put a small piece of dimensional on this right hand side so it's supported. Okay, make sure it's clearing everything else, and I might put a tiny piece in there, and we're done. Just make sure that is clear of everything, which it is. And I could use a little bit, yes, of ink on the edge of here. So I've got my early espresso, but I don't want it too dark. So I've got my blending brush here, and I've got some basic beige ink. And so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this. Because I don't want it to overpower everything. And then just use this around the edge of this sentiment piece. Just to highlight it and differentiate it from the background. Now if you're not very confident in doing this, I would try your blending first and then stamp your sentiment if you're happy with it. Okay, yes, that's better. Take the backing off. I can get this off. There we go. And then I'm going to pop it on there. There we are. That's that element there. Just thought for a minute we'd frozen then. Okay, that's going to be our layer there. So I'm just going to use wet glue on the back of this and then decide whether or not I need that ribbon. Probably not now. There's quite a lot going on that card. So the glue goes on the smaller piece of card so it doesn't overlap and stick out any glue. Centralising that on our base card, which is basic beige, and then there's our finished design, so hopefully you can see that. I appreciate you can't see the real 3D detail, but I do quite like it being raised up. So the question is, do I add the ribbon? Yes or no? Hi Vivian, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're keeping well. So, am I going to add the ribbon? I'm not sure it needs any ribbon. I'm not sure it adds anything. I think if anything it detracts from the overall. But let me know if you think I should add that ribbon. And I'm just going to see if I've got any metallic gems that I could use. I've definitely got some gold. I've got pecan pie as well here. That would potentially work. What's that one? Rustic metallic brads, that would work too. And metallic sequins. Right. What do we think? I'm discounting the pecan pie. Thank you, Fran. Hi, Monica. So I've got these bronze ones, copper ones too bright, or I've got these rustic ones, which I think would probably work really nicely because they're not too shiny and feminine. A sequin on my hand. And let's add, so these are just 2 sizes. Just going to add the small ones, I think, in some of the gaps. So just 3 probably. 1. Oh, I don't want it the same height. 2 and 3. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So there's our design. Looks a bit shadowy because of my lighting, so I do apologise for that. And then you could stamp on the inside. You could add certainly one of those flowers, sets of leaves rather. Let's just add this one in here and we're done. And also you can pop that on the envelope as well. Like so. So this is basic beige. We've got tone on tone. And I'm just going to stamp it on this offcut here because I can use the other side if I need to. Yeah, that's perfect. Add some grid paper underneath. Make sure I've got it the right way. Let's do 2 and just want that on there really. I haven't got a piece of post-it note to hand. Yes, I have. There we go. So I want those 2, but I don't want this one, so I'm just going to cover that up like so. Let's make sure I ink it properly to start with though. There we are. There we go. Okay, so that's our inside, and there's our finished card. So for anybody who didn't see the ones earlier, if I can locate them again, because, like, you know, they were here a minute ago and now I can't find them. Okay. Alright, plan B. They'll be buried under here somewhere. So just to finish off, I wanted to show you the designs for our July class in a box. So this is a box that anybody can take. You can either take it just as a virtual class, and that just consists of the videos and the instruction sheet, or you can take it as a class in a box, which then includes all the products you need to make the projects. The only thing it doesn't include is any stamped images, so your sentiments, for example. So let me make some space and just show you these really quickly. So we're using the Full of Life papers, which are these ones here. So if you buy the class in a box, you get 24 papers. They're all 6 by 6. So you get 2 of each design. And so we've got some small squares, and then on the back we've got those beautiful stripes. Then we've got larger squares in one set of colours, and then larger squares in another set of colours. And then we've got some starburst designs and some watercolour effects. And then more starbursts and watercolour. If you like doing scenes, they're perfect for that. And then this rainbow and those there. So you get all of these papers included. There's that one. These. And then these are like little sort of paint samplers almost. So you can choose which papers you use for each of the projects. Dots, stripes, and then finally those. So you get 24 sheets in the pack. You can buy the pack itself and get all 48 sheets if you wish. And let me show you the designs. So I've matched it with this die set, which has the complete alphabet on. Now this is the negative, but just to show you, if you haven't got any alphabet dies, these are perfect because you get the whole alphabet with some sensible duplicates. So you get 2 A's, 2 E's, 2 H's, 2 I's, 2 O's, R, S and T, and then you get 1 O and L's, and then 1 of all the others. But if you buy the class in a box, you'll actually get 3 sets of these, so there are 36 dies. But what's really great if you buy this is you put it through once and you've got all of those dies. And then what I've done is I backed it with some self-adhesive sheet, so that when you get the alphabet dies in the pack, you will get them all like this. This is what's left over from ones I've used, with the self-adhesive backing. So all you need to do is peel the white layer off, and it does come off relatively easy, except when you're on screen. And then you can just stick it straight down onto your project. So I've matched it with those, and also with this particular stamp set, Friends for Life, which goes with it. I haven't used the dies that go with this because not everybody wants the big die that's got friend. So I do like this just as a stamp set in its own right. It's all about colour. It's definitely all about colour. So let me show you the 5 final designs. So we've got this one here that uses the starburst paper, and you'll get these little white die cuts as well. You can put whatever sentiment you want in here. If you've got somebody with a short name, you might be able to fit that in, or you could put a block here with a larger name. And this could also go this way round if you wish, and you can choose whichever colour paper you want for that. This one has a little bit of fun with those squares. I don't know if you can see, these have been cut out and placed on top. If you can see that, and you can use the small squares and the large squares for this. This happy birthday comes from that Friends for Life set, but I won't be able to stamp that in your pack, so you can substitute that with one of your own, or you can buy the Friends for Life stamp set as part of the deal. This one here again uses those dies, and you can spell anything out. And this is just made up, as you can imagine, of the strips, some of the strips that are left over, and you don't even need to cut them straight. So that I recommend you do at the end, because you will have loads of little strips left over that you can use. We then have two fancy fold designs. So this one here uses part of the paper, and this opens up with one sheet of the paper. This is actually one of the starburst papers, so you could use either side. The starburst looks particularly stunning on here, and you get all of these die cuts as well, and all of the card bases and the layers. That's using the best wishes from the stamp set, but you could put your own wording in there from the alphabet. And then this one is called a puzzle slider card, and it's just a clever bit of cutting. So it's still an A6 card base, but it has some other layers placed on top that are cut, and then you can open it up like that, and I've just used an offcut across the bottom. You can also make this open that way, but I prefer it this way because I think it stands really nicely. I do like all of my cards to stand up, so they all do. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs. You get all the instructions for these. You get 5 videos plus 1 introductory video. You get half a pack of papers, and then you get all of the card bases, all of the die cuts, and those alphabets. And if you buy any of the products that go with this, then I offer them at a special price when you order the class in a box. And you can take the class in a box, thanks Carol, for £25 delivered to a UK address. Or if you just want the videos and the tutorials, that's just £10, but you don't get any of the products. And as I said, this die is a really useful one if you haven't already got alphabets, and it's perfect for card making. It's just the right size. It's not too big that you have to worry, especially when you've got large names to incorporate. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. Booking for our class in a box is open this evening, and I will be finalising the emails and sending those out to anybody on my email list. In the meantime, I hope you have a nice weekend. I do have a couple of new kits to share with you, so I really do want to pop on and show them to you before I get too far behind. So I might try and pop on either Friday or Saturday. So watch out for notification of that on my Jemini Crafts page. Thank you everyone. Do take care. I really appreciate you joining me. If you're still here, thank you Caroline, Carol, Fran, Debbie, Jenny, Vivian, Monica, and anybody else who's watching who hasn't said hi, or anybody else who's watching us on catch up. Thank you so much everyone. Do take care. Happy crafting. Look after yourselves and your loved ones, and appreciate all your support for me and my small business. Thank you so much, and bye for now.